Couche-Tard is the second largest convenience store in the United States. They manage Circle K. Yes.
Okay. But they're Canadian, and
they're
that's why they have a French name that sounds funny to American ears.
Yes, it took me actually a while to be able to pronounce their name. But yeah, so they're very acquisitive. We're not that surprised that they are, there's talks that they want to buy something. But 7-Eleven is actually a big name. Yeah. There's valuations going from like $50 billion to as much as like $85 billion. So for them to be able to do that, it's quite impressive if they are able to.
It's always surprising, I think, to people who aren't in the know that 7-Eleven is owned by a Japanese holding company. And I think they own Speedway as well. These seem like such American brands. Yep. So does Circle K, and it's owned by a Canadian company. Is there going to be antitrust issues here?
Well, for sure. The FTC, ask Kroger. They have been trying to purchase Albertsons for a couple of years now. So if they actually come up with the numbers and there's acceptance, I'm sure the FTC will have something to say. 7-Eleven has like about 14% of market share in the United States, whereas Couche-Tard with their Circle K brand, they have about 5%. So it definitely will be, up for.
Again, I'm a Wawa guy, but I can see how.
Is Wawa just like a New Jersey thing?
No, but it is. What is it?
It's in the Northeast. There's mostly in the Northeast. So, but yeah,
Explain to me this convenience store business. What's the economics of a convenience store? I just see people going in and out all the time. What's the economics?
Well, basically, they want you to go in for your gas. They're very competitive in gas prices. Fuel margins have been improving in the past few years. Couche-Tard actually has about 40 cents per gallon in terms of fuel margins. But what they're making money on is when you go into the store, particularly if you buy their sandwiches, the margins for that is like 50%.
It's true. By the way, I was filling up on the way there and back for more than $4.50 a gallon.
Oh, because you're putting in the super duper high.
I go with 93.
Yep.
And then
I
go in and I pick up a Snickers bar for my kid brother, and I got, I don't know, like a Twix. Each of those candy bars was more than $2.50.
Margin there.
And I'm starting to feel like a really old man, because when I was a kid, 50 cents is what you paid for these things.
So are these good businesses?
Oh yeah, if they're buying, I'm sure they think that there's some good business. Couche-Tard has usually they do big acquisitions. The last acquisition that they did was for $11 billion for the Total Energies in Europe. But they usually in the U.S. they usually buy smaller operators. For example, also this morning they announced that they bought Get-Go from Giant Eagle. So that's another convenience store which is in the
with a delicious pulled pork sandwich, by the way.
Oh well, I actually haven't tried it.
Yeah, I had
Get-Go?
one this weekend. Yeah.
Where's Get-Go?
I had them in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, it's regional. Yeah.
Okay. All right, it's the Midwest. It's part of the world I don't go to.
I skipped what's the one you like? The Cracker Barrel.
Cracker Barrel.
I declined.
But you probably drove past like 100 of them on the
Yes. A lot of them. And I used to always stop because you get books on tape at one, and then you'd return it at the next. But you no longer.
What else are we seeing in your space, Diana, in the retail space? What are some of the key things people are looking at? Because you cover a lot of retail.
Yeah, obviously this is like the biggest thing that has happened today.
It's one of the biggest deals of the year, right?
Well, yeah, even
$31 billion puts it like number 2.
Yeah, obviously the Kroger Albertsons acquisition, it's also the talk of the town. There's like likelihood that it might not happen. The FTC might object. So
when are we going to hear about that deal? Because we've been talking about Kroger's and Albertsons for a long time.
Yeah, honestly, like it really depends on what happens with the election and how M&A friendly the FTC will be afterwards.
All right. Well, 7-Eleven, by the numbers, and this is according to Bloomberg reporting, 85,000 stores. That's huge, and they've got 157,000 employees. So that's a big business.
Yeah.
And Couche-Tard Couche-Tard's got a bigger valuation, $58 billion valuation versus 38 for the 7-Eleven. So much higher valuation using that stock and cash, I guess, to get bigger.
Yeah, I think, definitely. I mean, obviously, I see this as an Asia play, to be honest with you.
Which we've seen more and more and more of, right? I mean, if you
Yes.
look at activists, investors involved in Japanese stocks, for example, it goes from 15 in 2022 to 25 last year to 28 so far this year, and we're only in the first half.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
I mean, 7-Eleven has like 31% of the Asia Pacific market share.
Oh,
so,
okay. There you
yeah.
go. Now we're talking. All
Now
right.
we're talking.